This is the Parker's Couch with Cameron, Carlin, and Carl, the Parker brothers. Some material is for a mature audience. Sit back and enjoy. And did the Republicans do anything? No. Like, they scream all this stuff about illegal immigration, but yet they reject every kind of bill that comes on the table to fix it.
It's a
because they're just playing the political game. Welcome to the Parker's Couch. How are my brothers doing out there today?
Well, the most handsome, the most debonair is here, and I'm doing absolutely fantastic. It's been a great day. Just glad to be alive. Blessed.
You know we're rolling our eyes right now, by the way.
Absolutely.
As always.
Hey, I can't help it if I'm blessed. You know, I'm just thankful.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
It's not even your season yet, or has it rolled over? No.
No. Leo.
No, we got a long way to go. We got a long way. Yeah, we got Leo to go. It's not even your season yet.
It's not even
every day is my season.
Calm down.
Every day. The Lord
anyway,
is dominion over this earth, so I'm.
Oh gosh. Here we go.
Well, I'm glad that you're doing so well, brother, and that you have had a great day.
Thank you, my friend.
I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
What about you, Carlin?
Well, Carl Parker Jr.
What he done did already?
Well, he was about to say something that he shouldn't have, and my angels just dispersed and cut him off.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I don't know if you heard what I said, but I am great. Thank you. I'm the middle child, so nobody cares, so I don't know why you even asked me.
Oh, that's the truest thing you said all day.
Absolutely.
In quite some time.
Why are you so?
I hate you.
You know I love y'all. Now myself, I'm feeling good. I'm glad to be here with my brothers and connect. And we got a lot of stuff to get into today. We got the Olympics coming up. You know, we on the countdown.
1 week.
Next week, we're going to be watching opening ceremonies. And so we got to get in a little bit of b-ball. You know what we love and how the boys are looking right now and what's going on that way. And we have a lot of politics to get to. The RNC convention just wrapped up. We all know the attempted assassination on Trump and all this stuff and everything going into that. And the Democrats falling apart.
Allegedly.
Meanwhile, at the same time.
Stop it, Carlin.
We talking over that because we're not trying to get this podcast canceled. So I'm not
right now.
I didn't hear a word that he said. But anyway. Since we're gonna save the political talk last, let's start off with some Olympics, brothers.
Sounds good.
Let's talk about some basketball real quick. I want to know how y'all are feeling about this team, because I've been reading some stuff too, like head to toe. Some people might be saying this might be one of the best teams that is going to be in the running with the best teams that we've had to showcase in the Olympics with this roster. Do you concur?
Well, I'm going to go because I actually do concur. I know some people may not think so on this here podcast that we're doing today, but I think it has a chance to be like the third iteration of like the great teams. Like, you know, it had the Dream Team, then the Redeem Team or whatever they were called, and this team. I think it's pretty solid. I'm not happy with Jaylen Brown being off the team. I know we're probably going to get there. I think they could have definitely used his defense and timely shooting because he can knock down a three just as good as Derek White can. And I'm a little concerned about our depth in terms of the size on the team. That's the problem. But other than that, I think we have the ability to really lock down on defense if they really play hard on the defensive end. I think that's where that calling card would be more so than on the offensive end, because I can see us going into struggles offensively at certain points. But I do think if it has an opportunity, I don't know if it will come to fruition. We will see. But yeah, I'm one of those believers.
It's a nostalgic team for sure. However, I don't think it's on par with the dream team. I just think the relative age of the stars that are on this team kind of diminishes that factor. However, they are a pretty solid team. I will give them that. And I do concur with Carlin. I not thrilled with the fact that Jaylen Brown was left off the team, but I know there were extenuating circumstances for that. Be one, he's a Muslim.
Uh-oh.
He's too outspoken.
That's not what I expected.
You talking about me?
But
wait, what was number 2?
2, he's too outspoken, just like Kyrie Irving. And 3, he does not belong to the Nike gang. But
I think that should be 1.
That should be number 1. Me too, Cameron.
No, the Muslim part is number 1, because that is a big issue. That's why he doesn't get the love out of Boston that he should, because he's a devout Muslim. But I'm not going to tear you on that part. We'll talk about this team. So I think the addition of Derek White there's one reason why he's there, and it's because of his defense in the guard position. So some teams in these Olympics are guard heavy, and their strength is in the guard position. And Derek White and Jrue Holiday are 2 of the most dynamic lockdown defenders at the guard position. I mean, you're not going to find any better at their position, defender. Now, Jaylen Brown is a heck of a defender himself, but I think Anthony Edwards gives you that in spades as well in that position.
Excellent point.
He's a lockdown defender. As far as the bigs, we are soft in the big category, but I am going to give kudos to Anthony Davis and Bam Adebayo. They are the ones that are holding down the fort. Joel Embiid was not the right person to have over there in these Olympics. He's trying to draw fouls like he's in. and that's just not going to work over there.
It ain't going to work.
It's not going to happen.
So I think that was a miss on their part on getting that guy to be over there. He's talented in the league, but clearly it shows in these games that he doesn't fit the Olympic game.
Yeah. The big man part, I was curious. I have been thinking about this because I love for bigs, kind of just like we grew up all like loving post play and playing on the post and doing all that. Like I've been missing just that art itself in basketball, and I think this team is just like really reflecting that, and it's the part that has me worried because we are so. I think you said it earlier, Carlin, how paper thin we are there.
Yeah, very thin.
Like
if we get in foul trouble or somebody
gets in foul trouble,
if
something goes on, and I mean we got some talk. I don't even know Durant's status right now with his injury.
I think he practiced today, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, he's not a true big.
No, but he's not a true big. And I was like, we have like tall like people, but you know how the game has evolved. And everybody want to be outside right now and around the 3-point line and how the game has extended that way. I'm just it just has me a little paranoid. What potentially could happen.
I agree. The Europeans bang.
Yeah,
It's been like that for years. I know even when I played overseas, that those guys have always been fundamentally sound. They have good footwork. They never were that athletic, although some are getting a little bit more athleticism.
True.
But they are fundamentally sound, and they will beat you to death in that paint. That's why the Joker really, he can't jump over a phone book, but that son of a gun will wear you out.
That's so true. When Serbia is supposed to be like one of their biggest rivals or contenders right now, and they put it to them just a couple of days ago here.
I think Serbia will be a lot tougher in the Olympics, though. I think
I do too.
I think it's going to be a task.
I do too.
That's a tough opening game.
I think Serbia is going to be tough. I think Germany is going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
And
France is going to be tough.
France is going to be tough. And Canada.
Canada has
a lot of folks.
Yeah.
In Australia, it's just such a different landscape now. It's so many NBA players and former NBA players on these squads and stuff too. So it's a whole night and day.
And the sidelines as well. A lot of the coaches are former NBA players a lot too.
Yeah.
From the places.
Exactly. What I will give this group is that they probably have the toughest road versus
they got tough.
It's definitely the toughest out of the top teams that we've had.
Out of the teams in the past.
Yeah.
Like the Dream Team was playing the League of the Deaf and Blind.
They were taking photographs and autographs. We have to be there. We're happy to be here.
Definitely. Well, definitely looking forward to it. And we're going to have a lot of Olympic talk going on. We're going to save some of the other Olympic stuff. We'll have some stuff to talk about next week when we get into opening ceremonies and these games start off. But I just love.
I was going to ask a question, but I guess I'll save that for.
What you thinking? You
about
sneak it in there?
Did y'all hear about Anthony Edwards saying that he should take the last shot or be the go-to guy if we really need a bucket out of everybody on the team?
Yeah.
What do y'all think about that?
That's just the young guy trying to flex his muscles a little bit.
Yeah.
He's wanting to be a little baby Jordan, but if it's going to be Steph or KD for me.
Oh, it's going to be KD for me. I want KD taking the last shot.
Yeah. It's going to be one of those two.
It's going to be one of those two.
Yeah.
Going to be one of those two. I agree with that.
Yeah. Those two, they're tried and true. And their Jays are just too wet. I mean, their arsenal is just a little bit better than the young fellows.
Oh, yeah. KD's untouchable. You can't come close to disrupting his shot.
I love the young fella, love the confidence. I love the brass and all that stuff, but settle down.
Yeah.
Please.
Just
thank you.
It's okay.
Somebody give him a lollipop and tell him to go sit down.
Not a lollipop. I'm screaming.
I do want to keep it basketball a little bit and get into, we haven't discussed, at least on the podcast and everything.
Oh no.
No. Don't be saying, oh no, you don't know where I'm going. Or maybe you do. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm not going where you think I'm going. But we haven't discussed Mr. Bronny James in this situation. In here. You knew where I was going. We haven't.
We were hoping not, but here we go.
Here we are. So, Bronny, y'all remember what was he, number 55? I want to say pick or something.
Yeah, I think 55 is correct.
I don't think it was. Maybe for a few it was a shock. I don't know. the draft was not very strong, and I saw this coming anyway. I just knew this was going to happen, that LeBron was going to orchestrate this. Me personally, I didn't really have an issue with him being drafted per se. Like, I understand maybe some issues down the road, like kind of thing. Like whenever it came out so quickly too, that he had like a 4-year contract, and honestly, I was a little confused. But it's like, when you like second round, 55th pick. But anyway, now that all the eyes are on the summer league, and everybody's just talking about Bronny, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, here we go again. But how would you rate his performance so far? How would you rate the circus show that started? And what do you think about him being drafted in the first place? Maybe some of y'all have an issue with it to start.
Carline, I'll defer to you again for you to start it off. I have a lot of.
Okay, I'll break the ice here. Okay, for me, I don't have a problem with him being drafted because the draft was so very weak. He's a second round pick. Those don't last very long normally in the league. LBJ flexing his nepotism. White people have done it forever, so I don't care. Go ahead. Flex your nepotism. You have the power. I'm 100% behind that.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
In terms of how I project Bronny to be, he's getting the opportunity. I just hope he's a solid role player in the league. I think he can progress to maybe being a player in the league. I just think they should put him at point guard, in my opinion. Like, why they have him as shooting guard is what I've seen him play, or why he's not bringing the ball up the court. I think he would maybe thrive better that way in the future. The 4-year contract, that was just, strange. I mean, it's the Lakers' move. I understand they want to appease LeBron, but to me, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to do that, in my opinion. But I get it. I understand why the leadership did it. Carl, I'll defer to you. I think I answered all the questions. Was there anything else? I would grade it. Well, his performance so far?
Yeah, how do you think he's doing?
He did better his last game. I give him credit for that. He has struggled. I don't want to be too harsh. I would say a C-.
Okay. Yeah.
It's summer league, so it's just they just playing ball right now. So I just need to see more, more structure down in the future. See how maybe he can come off, the bench, come off, with a second unit, third unit. See more action that way, and maybe I can get a better assessment of him. But it's summer league, so I'm not gonna beat him up too bad.
I see the stress in Carl Parker's face. Yeah. I don't know what he's thinking.
Your turn, Carl Parker.
Well, this is a tough subject for me because I really don't like on a young basketball player at that. I don't want to sound like I'm killing them already, but
yeah.
So I will say this: prior to him going, before he had his congenital heart issue, he was a projected lottery pick.
Yeah, this is true.
You guys realize that, right?
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Now I will give him a little bit of grace because he had some health issues, and he really wasn't able to display anything throughout his college career because of that. However, his measurables do not show that he would be anything more than a role player in the NBA. He's a small guy. He's 6'1", really awkwardly shaped for a basketball player.
Okay, that's not just me. I was like, something. I'm with you there.
Yes.
He's a little bit awkward as a basketball player, shape wise. So he's got a few things that are going against him for him to actually be anything more than a role player. As far as how he's done so far, and pretty much he's done what I expected him to be.
Mm-hmm.
Not really that great. And he's, to Colin's point, he should be a point guard, but he lacks the ability to be a point guard. That's the toughest position to play in the NBA, for one. And two, he just doesn't have the ball handling ability or the playmaking ability to be able to handle that position. So I'm with, Jaylen Brown. The other day, I think when they called him,
about that.
Don't say it, brother. Don't do it.
Yes.
When they called him, I don't think he's a pro. I don't think he's an NBA caliber player. I think there are people out there. I know there are people out there that are better than what he is. I mean, that kid from the Heat destroyed him when they played him, Melendez Williams. Man.
Oh, that was not good.
Yeah, but he just, as Colin stated, he was in a weak draft class. I think Rich Paul was very astute in bringing Bronny out at this time because he was not going to have a chance in these next up.
Yeah, he said the same thing, didn't we, Cameron?
Yep.
So
absolutely.
But that's pretty much my assessment. I don't want to trash the young man.
I get it. You don't want to kill him. And I don't think it'd be kind of like fair, right? But yeah. And if people don't know that Jaylen Brown, he was caught. They were all over this conversation when he was there with Angel Reese said, was it his girlfriend he was there with, the other girl, or just somebody? I can't remember. That was that girl.
That's his lady friend right there.
Yeah.
His lady friend.
NBA player too.
He's a basketball player too.
Yeah, she plays.
Is she currently playing?
Yeah. Well,
okay. I saw like different things. I was trying to figure that out because I didn't.
I don't know. She's been cut from like 11 teams.
Yeah,
I know that.
She's around. I don't know if she's not currently playing, but I don't think she's retired.
But Jaylen Brown was caught, by lip readers and just basically saying that Bronny James is not no pro. He ain't no pro, y'all. Man,
I for lip reader, and that's exactly what he said.
That's exactly what he said.
That's exactly what he said.
Follow it up.
I ain't a lip reader, but I can read them lips.
To follow it up with a tweet to kind of save his behind, and is trying to talk about him and how he's a pro and all this stuff. But
y'all know LeBron brought the black van out there. They rolled up on him.
It did. That happened. That definitely happened. But the people are vicious now, and they have been coming for Jaylen Brown, and they have compared his summer league stats to Bronny James' summer league stats.
Not summer league stats.
At the same as that time.
League stats.
At that time, he was. I think he was 6 for 26 or 5 for 26.
5 for 26.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Bronny was like 6 for 26. Jaylen was like 5 for 26 in their first few games.
But we knew Jaylen Brown was a lottery pick. So that's
the streets are vicious. And they're like, oh, and Bronny is already showing he got a left hand. There's like, do you have one yet?
No.
Dang. He got a finals MVP though.
Who got the finals MVP?
He got a ring and a finals
MVP.
I'm like, y'all trying.
Dominique Wilkins played with no left hand and Clyde Drexler, no left hand.
Made a career out of it.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't never lied. Oh my God. So many people ain't never had no left hand. Yeah. But Yeah, he ate it for that one. And Angel Reese, she came. They were joking. She was joking about it. I think at the All-Star that they have now, and she would just basically said when they asked her about it, she just said, "We done learned our lesson," and started laughing. She's like, "Nope, man."
But Angel didn't say something. This, I mean, she was just
No, she was sitting there though. She was in there sitting there soaking it all in.
She took it all in on her phone tweeting.
Mm-hmm.
I got a Snyder brought Angel up. They in there the All-Star break. I got to slide in a very quick.
No.
Very, very, very quick. Rookie of the year. Who y'all got? That's all I'm gonna say. We ain't gonna get into nothing. Who's y'all rookie of the year in the WNBA right now?
No comment.
Caitlin and Angel.
They running neck and neck, buddy. I'm telling you.
No comment.
I think Angels will win as of right now, but they got a second half to go.
That double record is impressive. That she's continually running with.
Yep.
Caitlin put up 19 assists the other night. Like the girls are balling. Give it to them. But I'm not gonna do it to y'all today. Don't worry.
Thank you.
And before we move on to politics, brother Carlin Parker, you had brought to my attention the other day what was happening to your favorite sports commentator, favorite sports personality
of all time. He just
Skip Bayless.
Love Skip. Sight.
Going out the door at FS1. Apparently, that's gonna happen.
Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Good written.
Are y'all out there celebrating too?
Yep, sure is. Now I may watch FS1 again.
I wanted to. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, I couldn't stand that joke. I'm so glad he's gone.
Has anybody watched the show since Shannon left?
Nope.
Why?
That was the dumbest move that could have ever been made. Like
nobody watches the show for Skip
at all.
They found out They found out the hard way.
They did.
Nobody. And I just happened to cut it on a few times just to see. And I don't think I've ever lasted more than 5 minutes.
Well, you know what? I did see during football season when Richard Sherman was reading them. And I love that part.
Oh, Richard Sherman be on there giving on the business.
Yes. But other than that, nope.
He'd be on there with Paul Pierce and what's his face? Keyshawn. And Paul Pierce, Paul Pierce has been just as terrible with some of his takes.
Why did they put him on TV?
What? Like, dude, you're not sitting there, you're not around your boys right now talking. When he dropped the N-word on TV, I said,
oh. I mean, how many chances is this drunk going to get to be on television?
He has said some just crude things. He does not deserve to be on TV.
I don't know what they about to do over there at Fox, but we're going to see. But, Skip Bayless, it is time, way past time to give it up. Man is 70-something years old. You got to stop. That's a good transition into old people, actually. What'd you say?
Like Tiger Woods be looking out there right now. Tiger Woods look terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, guys. Do y'all see him missing the cut, shooting 14 over?
Yeah.
That's Skip Bayless.
But it's the British Open, that can really get you.
Yeah.
But I just wish I was sharper. We all wish you were sharper, Tiger. Yep. Those days are done.
That is Skip Bayless in a nutshell.
But you know what's ironic?
What?
LeBron has lasted longer than Skip Bayless in terms of his trolling.
Yeah,
he has outlived the trolling.
LeBron is just laughing right now.
What was so funny to me too is ESPN was very quick. As soon as the dude came out and said, "We're not interested."
Absolutely not. He's not on the radar.
Absolutely not interested. Oh, Skip.
But that's what sucked about him. He really made a career off of LeBron.
Absolutely.
Although
that made him.
He had a career prior to that, but nobody knew about him.
Nobody knew him. Until he called
until
out
he
Troy
started
Aikman.
making.
He called out
Yeah.
Troy Aikman that time. That's how we first. Oh, that's Skip Bayless.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
he moved on from Troy Aikman to LeBron.
That's right.
Yep. And it's just weird. I still to go back and how that really developed and started going. That was just weird to see. You could tell some of it was really just forced too. And it was like, we're just going to create this personality.
Yeah. That and the Tebow stuff, the Tebow mania.
Yeah.
So it made no sense. It was not logical. But
Yeah.
the only good thing out of it, though, it did enhance the opportunity for people to come in and debate him. So we got the debate style sports that we have, more today. I do think that was a good thing. But other than that, his takes were horrible.
But the thing I hate is that he did kind of catapult Stephen A. into what he is right now.
Oh, yeah, he created a monster with that.
Oh, right now, Stephen A. He did. And this man, I don't know what's wrong with his brother. I don't.
I can't stand it.
I'll tell you offline what's wrong with him. I can't say it right now. I want to keep the
stuff. Okay. I look forward to that offline. But yeah, he is just another one. And his takes that he goes on his own show, and the more political he is getting, the worse he is getting.
Yeah, he's like
his takes are all over.
He's the Van Jones of the sports media.
Oh, that is the perfect analogy.
Ooh. Carlin.
Yes. That's exactly who he is.
Carlin. Man, you spot on. Now that
he definitely is the Van Jones.
Yep.
Jeez. I didn't even think about it like that, but yes, you spot on with that one.
Well, let's get into some politics, y'all. I don't know. One, for the purpose of making content, because I've been making content and been posting reels and been doing my thing on this on the Republican convention. But I forced myself to watch the majority of this.
You and me both.
I knew what to expect, but I was still even surprised at some of the levels that it went to in this convention. But before this convention started, we know what happened to Trump in Pennsylvania and this attempted assassination, and all, at first everybody's coming out right away with their the left and the Democrats, and this is what you do, and this is what happened, blah blah blah. Where we are today and everything we know about this boy, registered Republican, there's some different reporting of whether or not he donated whatever money to @Blue, whatever, $15.
Come on now.
Yeah,
please.
Right. I've heard different stories about that though. But parents being like pro-Trump people and stuff in the yard. And this boy was like researching Trump, researching Biden, researching the DNC. Like, it seemed like there was a lot of things going on. And
his schoolmate said that he was very conservative.
Yes. Schoolmate said he was definitely very conservative, but said that he definitely didn't like Biden, but he didn't like Trump either. And stuff too. Like, that was kind of
I told you he's a never.
I think that's like most of America.
Yeah.
So like most of America, right? That's going on. So that's kind of like not the story that they really wanted to have here, but the way Trump milked this assassination attempt on this speech last night, y'all.
Ooh. No have mercy.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. What do y'all thought? Like, we don't want to go into conspiracy theory land and all that stuff and everything necessarily, but this moment, a lot of people right away was saying, and I gotta admit, I kind of had this feeling too, if it's gonna shift, they was like, this attempt, and it not happening might, and I've kind of changed my tune now as weeks pass, but initially I was kind of like, oh my gosh, this might hand him closer to the presidency. How did y'all feel?
I felt my sentiments exactly. I thought it would catapult him into the presidency, just because it will incite, one, a lot of stupidity, and people will just base their opinions off of emotion versus logic.
Yes.
And that's really how his ascension took place. Is all emotion built. It really didn't have any substance. It was just all based off of conjecture and, pomp and circumstance. And this is the biggest opportunity for them to have pomp and circumstance with an attempted assassination.
Yeah. I think since it happened so far out, like if this would have happened closer to the election, he for sure would have definitely won. But since it's so far out, so much is going to happen between now and the election that I think, even though it's something that was so monumental, but in the world of Trump, the world that Trump has created, the atmosphere, it's like on to the next.
It is.
Even with an assassination attempt, it's like, well, I'm not surprised. Nobody's surprised by it because his rhetoric has been so deplorable for a decade now, at least for him running for the presidency. And I just think that the Democrats took the wrong approach, in my opinion. Like, of course, initially, like the first day it happens, you say your pleasantries, or I'm so glad this didn't happen. It shouldn't be, violence, blah, 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 blah. The next thing, they should have just come out and told the truth and keep marching forward. You can't be civil to the devil. Like, they're trying to play this semantics politics, like, oh, we have to look to the better angels and stuff like that. No, this is the new breed. You have to fight these people fist to fist, face to face, toe to toe. And just tell the truth. Donald Trump brought this on himself. I'm going to say what the mainstream media does not want to say. Donald Trump and his supporters, Marjorie Taylor Greene, his vice president, J.D. Vance, nominee J.D. Vance, all people have created this hostility. They have created this. So they have to reap what they sow. So we gotta they need to change the messaging around. The Democrats have just messed this up so royally by eating each other right.
I'm going to tell y'all this, that attempt has really incited his group now. I mean, and it's not just it's not just them. I mean, they bringing in those that were sometimes, a little bit on the outside. Now they're bringing them right on in. But one, people are going to vote for him because they're fearful of what would happen if he doesn't win.
That's true.
That's an interesting angle.
Uh-huh.
We already saw January 6th. They're already, they've been making threats, like literal threats. Like if they don't win,
they've been saying
bloodshed and
it's going to be a civil war as long as people cooperate. Basically, is what they're saying.
Oh, that's on the table.
Yeah,
it really is a scare. Like this is just such a crazy political time. Like it's like our version of if we were around, we were of age and stuff then. Whenever of like the 60s and 70s and stuff, and those kind of political atmosphere climates, this history, I guess, repeats itself because we are in the thick of some stuff right now.
Yes, and it's not the time to do things that are normal. These are not normal times. So you can't act with like normalcy. Like, oh, we're gonna be the higher ground, like Michelle Obama said. I love her to death. But when they go low, we go high. No. You got to go low down with these people. You got to get down in the gutter with them.
Well, we can. I'm not going to say that part yet. I'll just wait.
All right. I want to talk about some different angles and stuff, and we definitely got to get into the Dems too and what's going on with Biden to get into that. And on this conference, I want to see what and brother, I'm curious too in North Carolina, like maybe what you might be if you hear any black folks and stuff around you. You know, we're in a little different atmosphere in DC and stuff here, but I can see how people are reacting and stuff by things I see. But I'm curious because the appeal to black folks and black folks primarily, and you know, other ethnic groups that was made at this RNC, it was like none other. And I've seen that RNCs before. And night one was definitely the ethnic night, where they had like a host of black people up there talking, and then they pulled in the racially ambiguous Amber Rose, who Joy Reid put a nice read on.
But
She cooked her. Ooh.
Cooked her. But and then that Vivek Ramaswamy, he came out with one of his appeals to black people, and he was saying, like, I'm going to tell you what the media doesn't tell you. It doesn't want you to know. The media has been trying to keep us separated and blah, blah, blah. But we care about you, and we want you to have safe homes and good family, all that stuff, going down this whole laundry list of
as if we don't already have safe homes.
Right. In the same party where Ann Coulter already told you she wouldn't vote for you because you're an Indian. But anyway, you want to tell us that this party is welcoming to everybody. But then you had all these last night. You had that ignorant black preacher up there from Detroit up there doing this thing, and you know, praise it. Trump is protected by God. Like that's been the whole big theme of this thing of how God is like protecting Trump and stuff. But this appeal to black folks, do you see like a growing black presence for Trump in any kind of like your goings in North Carolina there?
Yeah, but I don't think it's just in North Carolina though. I mean,
it's not. No, I've seen. I know it's a presence going.
It's growing everywhere, but you know, I don't think Biden has done the Democrat Party any justice, you know, as far as retaining a black vote anyway. And for me, you hear a lot of conjecture in our community. Right now, they're just disgusted with both parties, with both candidates. You know, one guy had in his yard, why do we have to choose between these two? But
I definitely agree with that.
And I think that's pretty much the sentiment between all, you know, between most Americans. But black folks right now, after the assassination attempt, you know, you got a lot of young people, unfortunately, have switched to Trump. And that's a lot of it is just emotional type stuff. And, you know, you got all these social media ads out there with Trump's face on a 50 Cent album cover, and you know, this or another rap group. I think he's on the NWA cover. You know that, and it's, you know, it's unfortunate that we, you know, allow an incident like that to say that he relates to us. He's more like us than the other candidate. had
that
a
stuff
fight
blows my mind.
about
Anybody who thinks
going
like
to
that.
jail. He's gotten shot. He's got this and that. And I'm like, oh,
People actually
come
believe
on,
that.
people. Just let's really talk about the real nuts and bolts. And believe me, I'm going to tell you, I'm no fan of Biden at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I mean, he grew up in an era where, you know, segregation was, you know, a commonplace. And, you know, he's had some terrible remarks during those times. And, you know, nobody can dispel that. And, you know, it's
Right.
all true. And then some of the legislation that he approved that wasn't, you know, really in African Americans' favor. He and Hillary Rodham Clinton both, but
And
both parties are terrible in that respect.
But the thing is, I feel like the messaging from the Republican Party is what's coming through stronger. Like the Democrats have always struggled with messaging and really talking about, like, I don't understand why there isn't people out there pounding down talking about like Biden with his American Rescue Plan or his infrastructure law and all these jobs that have been created and stuff, and how it's helped Black unemployment rates and stuff go down, like the Inflation Reduction Act, all these things that have been done. But messages, I don't know, they don't talk about stuff, or they don't showcase things in a way that people can relate to.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up. This is where I actually wanted to go. I was saying the same thing, Cameron, but President Obama didn't have great.
He didn't.
He didn't have great people behind him telling him what to do. I mean, you know, speaking out about their accomplishments. But if you're a dynamic leader, you're supposed to be able to do that, and that's why I struggle with why is Biden running again when he clearly is diminished. He's not able to sing the praises. Because I'm just going to name some things that he and Vice President Harris has done in this administration to help Black families. Like you said, Cameron, they powered a historic economic recovery that created 2.6 million jobs for Black workers. They helped working families build wealth in this country. Black wealth is up 60% relative to the pre-pandemic, the largest increase ever on record. They cut in half the number of Black children living in poverty since 2021 through the ARP child tax credit expansion. It provided breathing room for families for over 9 million Black children who have been, you know, stuck in poverty, if not so. And his infrastructure, they began reversing decades of infrastructure disinvestment, including $4 billion to reconnect communities that were previously cut off from economic opportunities by building new transportation infrastructure in underserved communities, including Black communities. You know, we talk about how these people moving into Black neighborhoods are coming in and, you know, kicking Black people out, and they're putting things forward to try to reverse that. But nobody's talking about this. Like, I'm with you, Carl. I'm not a Biden fan, but I look at him like President Johnson. He was a stone cold racist, but we got the Civil Rights Act passed through him. Like, good things can come from people that you least expect when they're willing to do that. And that's what I appreciate, at least by his presidency, that he tried to reverse some of his wrongs. He knows some things he can admit that were wrong that he did in the past. But like you said also, Cameron, the messaging is so terrible. And he's not able to lead in a way to describe these things because he's diminished.
Well, he definitely shouldn't run again.
He shouldn't run again.
He, as you stated, he's diminished. But I'm just going to say he's old. I'm going to say what he's just
it
too
happens.
old, and
it happens to us. That's part of life.
I mean, you were just what you were saying that Democrats shouldn't do. You just did it. We're not going to use pretty language on him. He's old.
He's old,
and he's old. Sometimes he I don't know. It looked like he's almost dead up there.
It looks bad. Did you see him walking up the stairs? Walking
down the stairs too.
And walking down too. Yes.
He's in a bad state, and it's nothing against the geriatric community or nothing like that. It's just so there's a difference between wisdom and just being old. Yes, sometimes you gain wisdom through experiences and being at an older age, or sometimes you just get old and you can't remember things. And he's at that stage of being old and you can't remember things, or you're unable to function and
can't walk
and can't walk. I mean, he just should not be running, and I think it would counteract this campaign that Trump is running, because they basically have put all their eggs in one basket and said, we're going to fund our campaign based off of Biden running and no other candidate.
Yep.
And all their points, all their talking points, and why they may have a lead right now is based off of just that point exactly. They are geared towards Biden, and they have a good game plan towards Biden.
As long as they can keep Trump away from the microphone, because he's just as old, and he's out here talking about Hannibal Lecter and all these other crazy stuff. So
the difference between Trump and Biden is that Trump has a different personality. So his personality will grab, even though he is old. And he's probably the only one out of those two that could have got on the ground in the manner that he did when the guy tried to assassinate him.
You got a point with that. My friend, touche.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
But I know Cameron was asking about, people here in North Carolina or black voters. And Colin, you brought up some points. It looked like there may have been some points from off of Biden's campaign and whatnot. I just do the eye test myself.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, family struggling, it don't matter if you're black or white right now.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
So I'm just looking for somebody that's going to provide some kind of relief. Now, I know I've heard some people talking about, inflation not being as much as it is for groceries. I can tell you for a fact that groceries that I got pre-COVID versus after COVID is it's about a 200% increase.
It's more.
It's crazy.
It was high, the inflation rate, because it was what, like 9%?
Yeah.
No, inflation definitely it is. Yeah,
that's the biggest issue.
So we have issues there. I know they said that there was an increase in black wealth and stuff, but what I'm noticing as far as with black families, there are not many Black families that have blue collar jobs anymore, and that's your younger individuals, like younger Black people working, say, in the industry that I'm working in. I work in the energy industry, and I can tell you that there are people that make a heck of a lot of money in this industry. Just people with high school diplomas, making $150,000, $180,000 a year.
Right.
And they're not African American. They're one or two you can find, but we're not in those type of industries anymore. And, we kind of chase getting a degree versus getting a trade or a skill.
Yeah, I think that definitely has changed.
And so when the Republican candidates talk about these migrants or whatever taking Black, quote unquote, Black jobs, I think the real issue is there aren't African Americans in those industries that we used to actually fully.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah. And it's definitely being framed in the legal. Now, that's the other one where I feel like the Republicans' message is coming in louder and more effectively is in the illegal immigration situation, because we definitely have an illegal immigration issue in the country. But to me, it's just so much more complex than whatever it's being made. But the Republicans have this way of making things very simple. And people like simplicity, even though it might not really tell the full picture.
Yeah.
But it's like that, the more simple that you make something that somebody can hold on to, it's like, yeah, that's why I don't have that, because these migrants.
Yeah.
These migrants got you putting them up and they getting all this and that, but look at me, like, or look at it's so easy to pit.
It's crazy because you can see it every day. I call Spectrum to come out to do some repairs at the house. And they sent Hispanics out. And the Hispanics that came out, it was 4 of them. 3 of them could not speak a lick of English, and 1 of them was speaking broken English. So, and this is, we hear a message and then you see it.
Yeah.
And Black folks, and you got Black folks out there right now that are angry because, one, we have catered to some of these illegal immigrants and given them a whole lot more than they've given Black folks.
Amen.
And so,
and a lot of that too falls. And what's so crazy about it is a lot of it falls too on the people that's doing the hiring.
Yeah.
Like, that's where it falls. Like, they know what they
yeah. I mean, but these corporations are like, hey, I can get this labor this cheap.
Exactly.
I'm going with them.
And we know who the CEOs vote for.
Well, they try to increase that bottom line, man.
It's just so many layers to this, but I get it. I totally get you, because you're saying, like, once you hear the message and then you see something and you make that connection, and it's like A plus B equals C, like, bam, deport them all, bam, gone.
Yeah. And that's why they went. That's why the Republicans are winning a lot of Black people over right now, because.
But the Republicans are hiring them.
Well,
they sure are.
we know that.
But thank you. We know that, but the people that are voting don't, and that's the problem. There lies the problem.
We know that.
And Republicans are also dumping migrants in cities themselves.
Thank you.
It's just a whole thing.
That's the gag. They're the ones screaming bloody murder about it, but it's the problem they're creating. And the problem is the Democrats are weak. I'm sorry. Very weak on immigration.
People think, but then it becomes all right. We take a city like New York, or we take a state like New York, man, a city there. Like I don't know all the ins and outs, and I'm just kind of going off of kind of thoughts and what I see. You know, I'm not there, but I'm like, if I have all these people suddenly in my city, am I supposed to just like let them starve to death? Like, what are you supposed to do in a situation like that? You don't have the manpower to do anything, like as far as authorities, because we can take that back to Obama. We could take that back to Obama when in 2014, when Obama said that we have a crisis, and he tried to get this bill back. Oh gosh, I wish I could pull up that bill, but it was about how it was like all these extra 100,000s of border patrol people. It was about you know how they used to call Obama his deportation rate. He didn't play.
Deporter in chief.
He had a very, very serious bill. You know, there were ideas on the table, and one of the bipartisan thing worked out. They got it worked out. And of course, what did the House do?
They vetoed it.
This quote from Obama, we'll do our own thing. And did the Republicans do anything? No. Like, they scream all this stuff about illegal immigration, but yet they reject every kind of bill that comes on the table to fix it.
It's playing
the political game.
It's a winning issue for them. They win election after election after election over it, and they make money off of them. It's a vicious cycle.
It is. And it drives me nuts. It's such a vicious cycle. And the Dems, they're cut like whenever you're mayors in these towns, it's like, well, dang, how do you handle? What do you do?
Make them sink or swim. That's what they'll do with us.
Remember me and Carl, we had our conversation yesterday about, where everybody's talking about like, black homelessness and all these things are going on, but migrants are getting this, but all these people here. If you just hear DC, I just know DC experience and the homeless people that we said, and brother works, your job, you deal with.
I deal with them, yeah.
And I was like, we're not going to pretend like all these people are homeless because of migrants, or there aren't like things out here to help these people or certain people. But there are a lot of factors. It is so not black and white.
Yeah. Totally.
When we talk about this issue. And there's so much here, like DC itself, there's so much for people to be helped. There are a lot of programs and things out there, but brother knows he deals with the real people day to day, and he knows there's a lot of mental illness.
The mental illness in our community is something that is not talked about, but it is so rampant, and it's so sad.
It's a lot of factors.
Yeah,
well, that mental illness comes from ignorance to health conditions that our black community faces.
Absolutely.
What our diet is what leads to a lot of this mental illness, dementia, Alzheimer's, those diseases, they impact African Americans more than any other community. And absolutely. We somehow don't have anybody champion that in our communities. See,
we don't.
That would be a
beautiful platform. That would be a beautiful platform. and somebody
That
taking
should
that.
be somebody leading that charge. And there are medical statistics out there that show that it impacts our community more than any other community.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of that, like I said, is, our diet and our experiences that we go through. So I know you guys were talking about, I guess, Biden and Harris were trying to reverse some of the wrongs where they have white folks have really just moved black folks out of those inner city parts that they were inhabiting. DC used to be Chocolate City back in the day.
Oh yeah.
When I was growing up, but when I was coming through DC, it was a lot blacker than what it is right now.
Oh yeah.
And that's caused some angst and a lot of homelessness and a lot of, mental illness in our area. And, Malcolm X and it's so funny. Malcolm X said this way back when that about Republicans and Democrats speaking in those terms is antiquated. That was back when he was coming up.
It's so true, though.
It is. It really is.
It
It's
is.
either
It really is.
It's liberal or conservative.
I think that's what made that's why the black perspective is so unique, because what we've been through. Yeah. And our experience and the eyes that we can see everything going is just different. We're in the last couple of minutes. This has been a really fun conversation. There's so much more I want to talk about. I'm just like, I just want to make one last thing while we're wrapping up here too. Like, one thing that's pissed me off too about the Democrats too is I understand like the Biden thing. And we are here now, and he absolutely has to get out of the race now. It's just way too much noise. All this, But why did this start now? And I'm like, Dems, you had a chance to. We had candidates. You had a chance to contest his presidency the second time around.
Exactly.
Why didn't he go unchallenged? Why didn't nobody?
Why didn't anybody step up to the plate?
Thank you.
I mean, he didn't just all of a sudden get old.
Y'all saw this.
I'm kicking myself in the butt. I'm like, I'm broke, but I could go up there and run a better campaign.
Right.
But now this time that they're picking to do this is just so, God, it is driving me crazy.
Well, thankfully, Trump opened the door back again last night with that horrible speech.
It was terrible.
So
it was like 2 hours long.
Yes,
it was.
It was ridiculous. But if they don't put Harris there, like Biden messed up. He had opportunity. He should have just handed the baton to Harris. Like he could have made this grand gesture. Like it would have played over so well. Like he would have been a hero to many by just hand it over to her.
The only thing about Harris, she has to jump 2 hurdles.
Yeah, she does.
She's a woman.
Racism and sexism. And I just don't think America's not going to go to.
America's not going to elect the woman.
Would respect a woman candidate. So,
and the people don't want. That's the thing too.
Who's it going to be?
That's the problem. They don't put themselves in this predicament now, and then they don't realize there are rules, and nobody really knows the rules or understands them, and they're about to really get themselves in trouble because they about to mess up and do something. And who are the courts? The MAGA courts.
And
they about to mess up.
The Republicans can sue them, and it's going to go to the Supreme Court, and we know how that's going to go.
And once they get back in office again, watch what them courts look like. After that.
If he wins, it's over. If Trump wins, our generation is done. We're lost. We got to hope better for the future ones coming up after us.
Yeah.
Because we're done.
That's true. That's true. Brothers, we gotta continue to it's so much more to get into and stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation as always.
Yes, brother. I feel better getting this off my chest now.
I know. I don't want to feel too down going out, but I feel kind of a little dark and gloomy. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not very optimistic. I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
Oh, we're gonna lose. I'm not Trump's gonna be president.
I know for a fact if Biden stays in the race, it's over.
All right. Well, on that note, that's the couch, y'all, and our thoughts. All right, Tater Tots. See you, brothers.
Love y'all.
All right.
This has been a Rosie B production. You can follow the Parker's Couch on YouTube and TikTok. You can follow Cameron on Instagram at cdparker03, Carlin at Carlin1978, that's CARLON, and Carl at ParkC73.